Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Honest Booktuber tag, and this tag kind of gives you a peek behind the curtain of content creation, booktube, and all of that stuff. I will say, if you have any other behind the scenes questions, definitely leave me a comment down below. But with that little introduction being done, let's go ahead and start with the questions in the tag. And the first one is, have you ever lied about reading a book? And the answer to that is no. I have not ever intentionally lied about it. There may have been a time where I thought I had read something, confused it with another book, and said that I read it when in fact I hadn't. But I am not ashamed to talk about books I haven't read or acknowledge that I have giant blind spots when it comes to my reading. I talked about it multiple times that there are huge series that I haven't read, such as Realm of the Elderlings, such as the First Law series, and so many more that there's so many that I haven't even mentioned. But I think that's just part of reading. At some point, hopefully I will get to those series, and maybe you guys could push for certain ones and that would make me read them sooner. But in general, I don't really have a problem with talking about what I have and haven't read. Next up is, have you ever avoided a book because of a controversy around the content/author? And I have never completely avoided a book because of that, but I have definitely bumped series down my TBR, or my want to read, because of things that the author has said or done or hasn't done. For example, when all of the stuff with Patrick Rothfuss happened, or specifically around his charity, I won't go into huge detail here. There are videos about it if you are more curious on that topic itself. But when I kind of saw that, I really pushed down his books in my wanting to read them. I still think they're probably really good books. A lot of people talk very highly of them, and maybe I'll get to them someday, but there are so many books that I want to read that if something happens, it may push it down the list, and it may not. It's honestly, I'm kind of hypocritical on it, because there are definitely some authors that I would probably still just continue to read whatever, even if I didn't agree with what they said. I have that kind of experience with my favorite books of all time, the Remembrance of First Pass trilogy. The author of those books has said some really controversial stuff, and they're not things that I agree with. So I don't know. I'm very hypocritical on this, and it really just kind of comes down to how I'm feeling about that person and that topic, and honestly how much I want to read the books to begin with. So this is definitely one of those ones that I think about sometimes, where what would an author have to do for me not to want to read any of their stuff at all? Definitely let me know if you guys have opinions on that. I think there's a whole conversation here about separating the art from the artist and all kinds of things, and that can be a really messy topic with all kinds of great points on both sides. Not something we'll get into here today, but that is as close as I've gotten to pushing certain books off my TBR because of that. It's not something I really do on purpose, but I'm sure there are examples and things that it has happened, and there will be examples where I won't. So like I said, I'm kind of a flip-flopper there. The next question is, have you ever been sent a book for free and not disclosed it? No, I don't think so. I really try not to accept a lot of books from authors at this point, mostly because I am getting offers from self-published authors at this point. And it's not that I don't think there is benefits to reading self-published authors. I have read plenty of self-published authors, and my reasoning behind saying no is I don't want them to waste their resources sending me a book that I will probably not read. And that sounds, cruel, but if there is a self-published book that I want to read, I would probably say yes and read it. But in general, I have such a long TBR that I really need the book to blow me away. Now, what I do is instead in my monthly wrap-ups, I have a section. If there are authors who reach out to me, I always tell them that, hey, you do not have to send me a copy of your book. I don't think I will probably read it, but I would be more than happy to give some Amazon links in my description of my monthly wrap-up and, kind of shout the book out in those videos. So that's kind of been my happy medium. I have been sent books by authors. Jenny Wirtz just sent me a bunch of books. I talked about that in a wrap-up. One of my favorite books from, was it just last year? The Never-Ending End of the World, that was sent to me. I think that was technically the publisher, not the author, but in general, I've always disclosed that, and I don't see why I would keep it hidden. The fourth question is, have you ever bought a book with no intention of reading it? And the answer to that is no, I don't think so. I think the closest that I have probably come to this is there are books that I have already read that I then buy a physical copy of, because I do most of my reading either audio, and then if it's not audio, ebook. So I don't really have a lot of new printed books. I'll read them if I have them, but in general, the closest that I probably come to this is I will buy copies of books that I really like and then have them on my shelf, but I probably won't ever read those copies because I've already read them somewhere else. So I don't think that's really the spirit of this question, but that is kind of my answer for it. Next up is, and this is an interesting one, have you ever been caught up in booktube drama? And off the top of my head, I don't even really know of any booktube drama. I'm sure it's out there. Booktube is a huge space, even though there's this little corner I like to kind of be in. I'm sure it's out there, but no, I don't really know any of it. I don't really have time for internet drama. I have plenty of things going on in real life that if things are going on, I just, best of luck to whatever's going on, who it involves, and I hope it all works out for everybody. That's kind of my mantra on that kind of stuff. I hope I never find myself in any of that. I can't imagine a reason why, but you know, anything's possible. Maybe I say something really dumb one day and it really upsets people. But no, I have not been involved in any booktube drama. I'm not really sure of any drama out there. Like I said, I try to stay away from those things because this is all just for fun. So I don't think we need to be getting that angry and upset with each other. Next is, have you ever had a hate comment and did you respond? In the history of my channel, I think I've been very fortunate where I haven't really gotten too many hateful comments. I have gotten the closest is I have had some like critiques about maybe some recommendations I have had, and I've had some people bring up points about books that I have reviewed, but in general, even the meanest of those hasn't really been mean. And I have responded. I think I've responded to every comment that's ever been posted on my channel, and if I haven't, I didn't mean to skip it. They're just not in the dashboard that you have to respond to comments. I love responding to comments. It's my favorite thing in here. And if people want to say some mean stuff, that's fine. This is the internet. I've been around on the internet for a long time. You'd really have to say some messed up stuff to upset me. And in the grand scheme of things, nobody really knows who I am on Booktube. Like they know my opinions on books, but for the most part, they don't know anything about me outside of probably my favorite color and the books I read. So it'd be really hard for mean comments to bother me in real life. Now, I'm still a very small channel, so I'm sure if you're a bigger channel and you're getting hundreds and hundreds of comments and then like a percentage of those are really mean, I could see how that'd be like a whole different ballpark. So I'm definitely talking about this in an ivory tower right now because it's not really something I've experienced and hopefully never will. If you are somebody who like goes and leaves mean comments, why? I just can't get my head wrapped around people who do that. And I know, trust me, I'm very familiar with like trolls and all of that kind of stuff, but I don't know, hopefully I can just, you know, keep riding this wave of positivity that I have, and we'll see. I'm sure after I have said this, I have set myself up for failure on this front. Next is, have you ever made a video just because you knew it would get views? And I think in the spirit of this question is no. The answer would be no, because I've never just made something because it will get views. Every video I've ever made is something that I wanted to do and talk about, like this tag. I thought it was interesting. I saw some other channels do it. I wanted to talk about it. I think it also opens up a conversation for people in the comments to like ask me things that they want to know about Booktube and all of those kinds of things. But in general, I mean, I want people to watch the videos I make. That's kind of the whole point, but I've never solely made videos just because I think they will get views. And I think this question kind of hints at a strange issue. I don't blame anybody who does make a video just because they think it will get views. I mean, if you're at a point where you're getting some kind of financial gain out of this or something like that, I don't think it's bad to make a video because you think people will watch it. That's kind of the point of YouTube in general. You make things for people to watch. So I think there's kind of like a hint of cynicism in this question, which is fine, but I don't know. I don't blame anybody. If you make videos because just solely for people to just watch and you don't really have like a lot of passion behind them, I think that's totally fine. I think it's weird in this space a little bit because of what we're talking about. I think you have to have some kind of attachment and care to the books specifically we're talking about. But as like a YouTube general question, who cares if you're making videos just for people to watch and get views? That's kind of the point. So I find this question to be very interesting, and it brings up some interesting philosophical questions on what people think about when they're coming to YouTube. And I'd be really curious on what would people say if somebody said, yes, I only make this because people watch it and I know people watch it. I don't think that's inherently a bad thing. Now, this is another fun question. If you could go back to the beginning of your channel, would you do anything differently? And I thought about this one a little bit. I didn't rehearse any of these, but I saw this in another video and I was thinking about it. And in all honesty, no, I've kind of enjoyed the way things have happened. It's all been very just organic, and like the origins of my channel where I don't really have a lot of people to talk about all the books that I read in real life. So I kind of wanted a space to just talk about them, even if nobody watched them, just because I wanted to talk about the books I was reading. And then also I kind of use it as like a diary slash like a reviews for myself. I can go back to videos and see what I thought about books at certain times. Obviously I could use Goodreads for that, but I'm really lazy when it comes to typing reviews. I would much rather record a video. So no, I don't really think there's anything I would do differently. Obviously, if I could start a channel again fresh with all of the knowledge I have now, I think the beginning of my channel would be better just because I would be more rehearsed. I'm still not great at talking to the camera, but I was really bad then. But I don't know, I think some of those older videos have a little bit of charm to them when I'm just like all over the place, no idea what I'm doing. I have a completely different background at that point, different lighting and everything. But I don't know, I don't really regret any of that. None of those videos are like hidden or privated. I know some people sometimes can't stand like looking at some of their older stuff. Not that I go back and watch too much of it outside of maybe some book reviews that I've done every now and again. But yeah, I don't think there's too much I would change. And the last question is, are there any channels you wish you could be more like? And in all honesty, no, not really. This is my channel. I do things the way I want to, and there are plenty of channels that I love what they are doing. I think they're killing it. Great content, great community building, all those kinds of things. But I don't know, that's them, and I'm me, and I've never been ashamed or afraid of just being myself and doing my own thing. That's how I have been able to experience so many interesting things and have such a variety in life, and I think that's, you know, an awesome thing. And if you want to model your channel after somebody, that's great. Early on, I was inspired by Matt from Matt's Fantasy Book Reviews to make my channel because he was just doing reviews, and I was like, you know what? If he's still just making reviews, why can't I do the same thing? So that was in the beginning, but as I've gotten more and more into my channel, I just kind of make my own thing and do my own thing. And if I feel like changing up how I do videos, I'll change up how I do videos and do them the way that I want to do. So while I do definitely learn things from other channels, I don't like have direct inspiration anymore of like wanting to be like somebody else. I just want to be me. But that is the Honest Booktube tag. Definitely let me know any questions you have in the comments, anything. Like I said, if you have some burning behind the scenes questions, definitely let me know down there and I will make sure to get back to you. But that's all for me, and as always, have a good one.